Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are y'all? Okay, where was that energy like 15 minutes ago? I was watching y'all worship. You're like, hallelujah. I just need a nap because I'm really tired. Is anybody tired in here? Let's be honest. Anybody tired? All right, I know Mike asked this earlier, but I was putting on clothes because I feel like people don't like it when I'm dripping sweat on stage. Can you turn that off, please? Thank you. This happens like every week. Let's work on that. All right, I like to use the entire stage. Anyway, if I'm sweating on stage, don't judge me. Actually, I was starting to sweat a little bit earlier, so I might start perspiring soon. So if you see me glistening, it's not the Holy Spirit. It's just the wetness. It's glory. It's going to be great. Anybody take a nap, by the way, after D now? Anybody? No? One person took a nap? 3 people? Okay, so y'all look, 4 people. I've done camps for a long time, right? There was one time I did a camp for a month straight. And we got 6 hours per week of like break time with no kids. I don't know what happened to me between that time and now, probably age. You know, I'm losing hair. I've got more gray hairs now on this right, just on the right side though. But after D now, I remember it was only 23 hours. Like I had Saturday night, I was fine. Sunday morning I woke up, my mind was there, my body said, I don't like you, Akil Mims. You were evil to me. But I was good. All I had to do was sit and show up to church. I stayed awake. But I took a nap after church. And I took a nap and I set an alarm, which I usually don't set alarms. I set an alarm. And when I woke up, I had to ask myself, who am I? And why was I summoned to this realm? Like, I had no idea what was going on. And it was D Now. D Now literally wore me out. And I'm glad we did D Now right after Easter, because Easter is a huge Sunday. It's one of the 2 biggest Sundays of the year. So it's like really great time. And you got Easter, you invite everybody like, yay, Jesus rose. Oh my gosh, really? Yeah, come celebrate that at D Now. Awesome. Okay, and we had our barbecue. It was all about great timing. And actually, speaking of timing, I've got a question for y'all. Or I've got a statement up there I want to ask if you believe it or not. Do you think timing is important? Anybody? Yes? Have y'all ever met somebody who's just got bad timing? Yes, just bad timing. Like they show up in that moment, you're like, I didn't want to see you right now. I can't tell you that. So let's just have a dialogue. For those of you who don't believe timing is an important thing, anyway, for those who don't believe that, I've got 4 pictures. 4 pictures I want to show you all. And I want you to tell me if it's good or bad timing on this person's part, okay, who got the picture. So this first one right here. We see 2 birds. And now you may ask yourself, what's going on here? I don't know. I don't speak bird. I don't chirp. But my assumption is because anybody have siblings in here? Anybody have siblings? I've got a younger brother. I'm the older brother. And I feel like this little brother, the little bird, notice this is a little brother. He's like, I'm telling mom. The big brother's like, no, you're not. That's what I assume is going on. Now, would you say this is good timing on the photographer's part or bad timing? Good timing, right? It's an amazing picture. Okay, let's look at the next picture. Let's see what's going on here. Y'all went from oh to oh. This is a loving father holding his naked child for a beautiful picture, you know, because that's how people like. They're like, I want a naked baby picture. I can't say it because it's nasty. I want a naked baby picture. But what that man didn't expect was his child to say, you know what, I'm just going to let it go in this moment. And if you want to notice, it's not urine that's coming out of this child. Now, you may ask yourself, is the baby in any harm or any danger? Look, the baby's smiling. The baby knows exactly what it's doing. It knows exactly what it's doing. It's like, all right, it's the last time you'll take a picture of me like this right here. Now, on the baby's part, is this good or bad timing? Bad. How many of y'all say it's bad timing on the baby's part? All right, how many say good timing? Yeah, that's right. My man and my women, that's what I'm talking about. All right, next picture. You may ask yourself, Pastor Akil, why would you show us a baseball game? Because I want you to pay attention to the fact that this outfielder is trying to get a ball. But this person on the side says, not today. And he punches him in the face. Now, I don't know what happened or what possessed him to do this, but I think that's the perfect shot. Everybody else is like, yeah, it's going to be caught. And he's just like, not today, Satan. Now, on the photographer's part, is that a good timing picture or bad timing? Good timing, right? In case that guy wants to sue, he's like, look, you intentionally did this. Everybody else is standing. You just decided to square up. All right. Next picture. So the giraffe looks like it's eating a plane. And honestly, I looked at this picture for a good 15 minutes because first of all, I was amazed. It looks... All right, we'll try this over here. It looks awesome, it looks really cool, but then you realize it looks like the giraffe's about to get his head chopped off. Why would you laugh at that? Let it be known she hates animals. But the giraffe looks like its head's gonna be chopped off, and the baby's gonna be like, Mama, you dead, or Daddy. Now, would you say it's good timing or bad timing on that picture? Good timing, right? I really want to stand over here, but I'm kind of afraid to go over there. Like, I want. We'll figure it out. I'm not gonna do it. So we've established, go to the next slide, that timing is kind of important, right? Now, how often do you all consider timing in your everyday life? Like, how many of y'all ride the bus to school? Anybody ride the bus to school? Anybody ride the bus? None of you all ride the bus to school? 2 people. All right, I just heard somebody say I'm homeschooled. All right, put your hands down. Be quiet. Shh. How many of you are homeschooled in here? Too many of you. Okay, well, when I was your age, and I would get up for the school bus, I would consider time, because I wouldn't want to wait at the school bus for an hour. I'd say, okay, what time is the school? I would actually say, okay, what time do they average? Will it show up? Okay, cool. Now I'm going to wake up about 15 minutes beforehand, walk out of the house, hopefully with clothes on, and I'm good to go. Everything, you never know. Everything's good to go. I wasn't waking up an hour early wasting my time. Like, we honestly consider timing way more than we realize. Sleep is a big one. How many of y'all love sleep in here? Anybody love sleep? Now, how many of you all would love to wake up 2 hours early for no reason just because and miss out on sleep? Something's wrong with you and you and you. Definitely you. Timing is huge. Now, if you remember last week, we started a series called Pursuit, based out of, anybody know the book? Song of Solomon or Song of Songs, depending on which translation you look at. Anyway, so we started this series. We talked about how you find the right one, right? Oh, lovey-dovey. This week, we're going to talk about timing in regard to that right person. Because you can meet the right person and say, hey, let's get married tomorrow. And she'll be like, creepy. Or he'll be like, you're very desperate, but okay, so am I. How do you know with timing? Do you ever think about that? Like, do you ever think about that? This question's going to come up, actually. Do you ever consider timing regarding relationships? Like, is this the right time for me? I'm just not feeling it today. I don't want to hang out with you because you smell bad. And, if I had enough Jesus in me, I could overcome that. But right now, I can't overcome it. So you go do your thing over here. And that's a guy talking to a girl, by the way, because sometimes y'all smell also. Just keep it real. So you see how quiet it got, guys? You see how quiet it got? Like, I just became public enemy number 1 right there in all the girls' eyes because I said they smelled sometimes. Not all the time, just sometimes. So we're going to talk about, good save. We're going to look at the next slide, and I want to talk about this for tonight. How do you know when the time is right? Like, if you found the right person, just our boy Mike back there got married to Kayla. Yeah. Exactly, yes, praise God. But I tell you what, Mike surely had no idea she was the right person at first. Ask the story sometime. Ask him how it came about. It's a great story. It's a humbling story. But he didn't know. He really didn't. Kayla did. But he had no idea. So how do you know when it's the right person? And if it's the right person, how do you discern when you can say, okay, you know what? Now is the time. Because you can ruin a relationship if you dive in too quickly. Or you can potentially miss something, that's what the world says, if you wait too late. So how do I discern when it's the right time? Because, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not all-knowing. So I can't look at eternity past, eternity present, eternity future and say, okay, here's the right time right here at this time. Bring her this kind of ice cream, these flowers, and you'll be good to go. I can't do that. I can hope I bring the right ice cream and the right kind of flowers, but I'll probably mess it up. So tonight, we're simply going to talk about timing. We're going to talk about timing in regard to your life, my life, our lives. Is that okay? Awesome. So if you have your Bibles, go ahead and turn to Song of Solomon, chapter 2. We're going to start in verse 7. Now, does anybody remember who's speaking when it's the pink letters? The girl, yes. When it's the white letters, the friends, like the ladies, the friends, whatever you want to call them, females, the sisters. I'm just saying, it calls them a bunch of different things depending on the translation. Blue, anybody know when blue? It's the boy. Hey, guess what? Guy's not going to talk today. Hey, ladies, you're welcome. They're welcome. The man's going to be silent. Anyway, we're going to start off. It says, I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or the does of the field, that you not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. I love this one little verse because it comes up so many times in the Song of Solomon. And it's weird because I've read this book a long time ago, and to be honest with you, that was the only thing I remembered. Is that time and time again, it would say in my translation, do not awaken love before it's time. And I wonder why, because if you look right before this, the first chapter, it's basically a love story. Like, hey, I love you. Oh, you love me. We're betrothed. Oh, my gosh, you're amazing. Remember, she says, like, my soul longs for you. My soul loves you. And he says, when she says, oh, my gosh, don't look at me. I'm so dark because my brothers are mean to me. They're just absolutely rude. They make me go outside and work outside when they should be working outside. He says, you look good. You look better than all these things I have. Look, girl, you are fine. And she's like, oh, really? Okay. So after all of that, she says, hey, by the way, ladies, listen. Don't awaken love before it's due time. So why would she throw this warning out? And actually, if you read it, because there's only 7 chapters, so you should read this book. It comes up again and again and again. It keeps happening. Why would she warn these people, especially the ladies, look, don't awaken love before it's time? Because sometimes people try and play you. And sometimes you play yourself. Sometimes you think you're ready for something, and then you say, whoops. You laugh, but how many of you want to go through a relationship where you get intimate with somebody, get to really know them, you get to expose who you are, who you really are, and then you realize that person isn't who you thought they were? Anybody want to go through that? No, you don't. So many times people go through relationships and they end up saying, whoops, I wish I had known. I wish I had taken my time. I wish I had been observant. I wish somebody had warned me. And what this young lady is saying is, hey, ladies, listen, yes, this man is amazing, and he's mine, but take your time in relationships. Don't rush into anything. If it's meant to happen, if God's setting this thing up, if God's walking before you, then it's okay. You don't have to rush. But why would she say that? Because of what she's going to say next. The voice of my beloved, behold, he comes leaping over the mountains, bounding over the hills. This man is an athlete. No, that's not what it's saying. This man he's pursuing. He's going out of his way. Any of y'all ever heard the song, Ain't No Mountain High Enough? Anybody? That is so many more than I was expecting. Y'all, I thought I was going to be Pastor Allen making a reference to a song that nobody knew just now. Like, this entire side of the room knew it, so I'm going to stand on this side and preach to you guys. No, but seriously, it says like there's no mountain that's high enough. There's no what that's wide enough. It's a river. No river? It's a river. It's a river. River wide enough. And then a valley low enough. It's mountain high, river wide, valley low. I'm just singing an old song. I'm not even preaching right now. I'm just singing an old song. But what they're saying is, hey, listen, baby, nothing is going to get in the way of my love for you. There's no mountains that I'm not willing to trek over, to get over, to pursue you. There's no river I'm not willing to swim through or get a boat and just go on through. That makes a lot more sense, right? To get to you. There's no valley I'm not willing to just get on a ride and just roll down right to you. Wherever I have to go, you're worth it to me. And what she's saying is, hey, look at what he's doing for me. Like, not only does he say he loves me, not only does he say I'm fine when I say I'm not feeling too hot today, and ladies, sometimes y'all say that. You're like, I'm not feeling too good today because you want him to encourage you. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. I just can't stand over here. And what she says is, look at what he's doing. He's going out of his way. He's really working for me. Why? Because he loves her. But here's the thing, though, we got to think about. Guys, let's talk for a moment. How many of y'all like competition? Anybody like competition in here? All right, guys, put your hands down. How many of you like a challenge? Yeah, ladies, look around. Look at the guys right now. We are created for challenge. We're created to pursue. Now, what we pursue, that's a different thing. See, some guys can be manipulative, and they can pursue you because they want to get something from you, but they don't want you. Guys, some girls can do the same thing. They've learned. They can manipulate you, they can pursue you, they can make you feel like you are everything because they want something from you, but they don't desire you. And so she's not saying, hey, just because he's pursuing me, he's the one, but she's saying, just to let you know, he is going out of his way for me. He's working hard to get to me. He's not letting anything get in the way of his love for me. So what else does she add on to that? Well, let's read on to see. My beloved is like a gazelle or a young stag. The stallion. Behold, there he stands. Mike got me on that one. Guys, I can't laugh. I know. My beloved is like a gazelle or a young stag. Behold, There he stands behind our wall, gazing through the, maybe he's creeping. Gazing through the windows, looking through the lattice. And my beloved speaks and says to me, arise, my love, my beautiful one, and come away. No, he's not creeping at all. What the man does is he shows up. So not only does he say, hey, look, you're beautiful to me. I love you. I want to have you in my life. He says, hey, I'm going to work hard to get to you. I'm going to pursue you. And that's something that guys can do. That's something girls can do. We'll work hard. We'll do what it takes to make somebody feel like, oh, wow, you think I'm special. Right. I think you're special. But what most people won't do when they're playing games is say, hey, I prepared a place for you. I've set my life up so that I'm ready to take care of you. Go back to that verse, please. At the very bottom, he says, hey, come away with me. This isn't like, oh, let's go run away together and be romantic. He's saying, hey, look, I've prepared a place for you. Everything is in place, so let's go. See, one thing that's really interesting about being in a proper relationship is you have a goal. And it's not just to get with the other person. It's to do life alongside the other person. And so what this guy has said to this young lady is, hey, you know what? You're worth pursuing, so much so that I want to bring everything I have before you. Let's say what's mine is yours. Come into my place of dwelling. Come alongside me. Yeah, that's a big deal right there. How many people do you know that say, and there's nothing terrible about this, but it does make you think about, okay, did this person prepare for me? How many young couples do you see living in their parents' homes? They're married, living with their parents. Now, it's not a bad thing, because sometimes things happen, but how often could we prepare for the relationship by saying, you know what, I want to marry this young person, this young lady, so I'm going to start living in a way now, budgeting now, so I can take care of her later on. The young lady I'm dating right now, I've already talked to her about, okay, you know, if we were to get married, let's live on my salary and we'll just save your salary. That doesn't mean when the wedding day comes, I say, okay, cool, no more Kit Kats, no more Grater's ice cream. That one's going to be hard. Just keep it real. No more of these things. No, that means now I've got to start preparing myself, weaning myself off with some of these things so that the wedding day I'm just not like, oh, this was terrible. This is the worst decision of my life. What? But I've got to start preparing now. I've got to start saying, okay, you know what? If I want to get to this goal, it's just like if I'm studying for a test. If I want to get an A on a test, and I'm not a genius, I say, okay, I'm going to start studying now in increments so I can get myself ready for when that day comes. And so what this young man did was, as he was telling this young lady, hey, by the way, I think you're amazing. I think you're awesome. And by the way, yes, he was a trillionaire, so that's kind of a little bit of a difference. Most of us aren't going to be trillionaires in life. But he prepared a place. He got himself ready for the woman that he wanted. And not just his body. It's not like he was like, I'm working out, I'm getting in shape, look at my sweat. Come on now. Everything looks good today. It wasn't just his finances. It was his entire life. He was getting his life ready to bring somebody else alongside it. Y'all don't want to match your life up with somebody who's not living right, who's not making wise choices, because what's going to happen is that person is going to have a sway, have basically, let's say, I don't know, have a lot to say about how you live your life as well when you're married to that person or when you're in a relationship. Anybody in a relationship in here? Let's be honest. Relationships? Yeah. Sometimes that other person says, hey, I've got this day off. What are you doing today? Which basically means whatever you have planned, I want to be involved in it. Or I'm going to plan something for you to be involved in. You have to all of a sudden change your life. Not a bad thing, but it's something to be aware of. But if you're not ready for a relationship, you don't want to do that. You say, no, look, I need my own personal time. I don't want you in my time. I got to do my own thing. When you're in a relationship with somebody, when you're married to somebody, when you become one flesh with somebody, that changes. Because you are meant to serve and point that other person to the Lord. And one of the things Jesus did was, well, he was selfless, not selfish. Let's continue on. For behold, the winter is past. The rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth. The time of singing has come, and the voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land. The fig tree ripens its figs, and the vines are in blossom. They give forth fragrance. Arise, my love, my beautiful one, and come away. So not only is he saying, hey, you know what? Or he's saying to her, and she's repeating it. I've prepared a place for you. I've gone out of my way for you. But also everything's right. Like I'm no longer working toward this. It's the right time. The season is right. If you look at the imagery there, it talks about how it's no longer winter, but it's actually springtime, that everything's blooming. It's saying, you know what? The land is ripe. The house is ready. Everything is prepared for you. I'm ready for this relationship. So let's take a step forward. I think so many of us go into relationships saying, you know what? It's going to feel good, so I'm just going to dive in, and we'll figure it out as we go. And yeah, you're going to figure things out as you go. Because when you bring two different, unique individuals together, stuff's going to happen. That's why you got Jesus, because you're not prepared for it. I'll tell you right now, no matter how smart you might think you are, you're not ready for it. No matter how strong you think you are, you'll break down. You're just not ready. That's just how it is. You're not ready for it. And that's okay. You take it one day at a time with Jesus and see what comes out of it. But you need to say, okay, what can I do right now to get prepared for what I'm going to be doing with the rest of my life alongside this person? You know what these people said to each other? So I'm ready for you. It's simple. I am ready for this relationship. I'm ready for you to come alongside me and to do life with you. But you know what they didn't say to each other? And I think a lot of people say this, and you'll see it in cards, you'll see it in movies, like, all right, ladies, let's be honest. Actually, everybody, not just guys and ladies. How many of y'all watch Hallmark movies? Hallmark, Lifetime, any of those things? I didn't ask you to cheer. I didn't ask you to cheer. That's not something to be proud of. Not at all. Tyler just said he loves Hallmark. You got to be distracted because I didn't expect the guy to say that. Stop. One of the things that you'll see time and time again come up in these movies is a person who says this, next statement right here. You complete me. Someone just threw up over there. You complete me. You're a real man. My life was incomplete, and then you came along, and it's like you just hung the moon and the stars and everything else, and, oh, I'm so in love with you. It's great to be in love, but you should never look for a person to complete you. We're getting there. We're getting there. If a lady completes you, what happens when she's gone? What happens if she breaks up with you? Oh, no, you're going to cry. Get ice cream. You're probably going to watch Lion King, just like, you got to console yourself. Hey, we'll be here for you. We'll be here for you. He-Man, Woman Hater Club, we'll be here for you. Ladies, when a guy breaks up with you, shame on him, first of all. But when a guy breaks up on you, don't clap for these things, okay? It's distracting. If a guy were to break up with you, or let's say you're married to a person, let's take it a step further. Let's say you're married to a person, and that person were to die. Like, you realize there are people who have been married, don't look it up now, but look it up later on, who've gotten married, and the day they got married, a spouse died. Yes, seriously. That's devastating. Now imagine if that person didn't know who God was. Imagine if somebody gets married to someone else and says, finally, you complete me, and then the person who completed them is dead and gone. They're fragmented for the rest of their life. Because what completed them is now deceased and gone forever. I think so many people look for a relationship because they're looking to complete something inside of them. So many people look for a relationship because, let's be honest, they're trying to fulfill a desire to take care of lust. So many people say, okay, you know what, I struggle with this one thing right here, but if I was in a relationship, I would get what I needed from the other person, and I wouldn't need to deal with this anymore. Wrong. That's not going to work. The relationship's going to amplify things. It's going to make you frustrated with that one person. They're going to be frustrated with you. It's going to cause a lot of issues. Some people say, you know what, I just feel like I'm so lonely. I feel like nobody notices me. Nobody cares about me. And I just need that person in my life so that I'm not lonely anymore. I just need my ride or die person in my life. That's great. So that person comes into your life, and then that person goes to work. What happens then? We cannot put our faith in people. We cannot make a person into our God. We can't idolize people because honestly, that's what that statement, you complete me, means. I have idolized you. I recognize that there's a hole inside of me. There's something that I can't fix, something that I can't make whole with money, with prestige, with cars, with education, with goods. None of it is enough for me. But I'm going to make it so that you are. That puts way too much pressure on that person. Because all of a sudden, they have to perform perfectly and flawlessly for you. And the moment they don't, what are they to you? Do you no longer want to be with them? Do you no longer love that person? And yet so many people, if we're really honest, look for a relationship to complete them. One of the most amazing things about dating Julia is that, we started dating each other because I'm a very, don't say all. I haven't even shared the story yet. Let me share the story. It's not cute. All right, anyway. So we're getting to know each other, as some of you heard last week. If you weren't here, look it up online. We're getting to know each other, and I realize when I'm out of the country, it's like, okay, you know what? I enjoy talking to this young lady, and I feel like I want to be exclusive with this person. I want to get to know her, and I want her to understand that I desire to get to know her for the purpose of marriage. It's not just like, okay, hey, you're pretty cool, and you have a different way of thinking than I do, so that's great, the whole iron sharpening iron. No, it's not just iron sharpening iron. Like I want to complete this. I want to go towards marriage with you. But as I got to know her, I was surprised by, because honestly, y'all, I struggled with a lot of lust when I was younger. I really did. And I was surprised by the fact that as I got to know her, it didn't change anything about me. Well, she says I'm nicer or whatever, but I just actually says I'm sweeter. And I was like, that's just weird. Because I bring ice cream and stuff, that's just weird. I just brought you into my life. That's all it is. Yeah, I know, right? She's like, she clearly doesn't know me to say I'm sweet. But anyway, this is recorded. But she does. But as we got to know each other, a part of me truly thought, okay, there's going to be something that changes inside of me that makes me more whole, that makes me into a better man of God. Now, have I gotten closer to God because of her? Yes. Just getting to know her, learning how to pursue her, learning how to get out of my selfish desires is pointing me closer to Jesus, I guarantee you. If you want to get closer to God, date a Christian woman. I'll tell you what, you'll get closer to Jesus real quick and in a hurry, in a good way. But I was surprised by the fact that what the world says, this person is going to complete some things inside of you, it didn't happen. And I was actually excited about it because it made me realize more of the fact that, what the Bible teaches about a perfect timing and a perfect place and actually trusting in his provision, trusting in who he is, it was right. It's still right. I couldn't ever tell somebody, hey, here's what it's like to be in a relationship with somebody because I've never been in one. I couldn't say, okay, hey, you know what? Trust in the fact that God's got a plan for you. It's going to be okay. When you're with this person, they're going to help you to get closer to God. I could say it, but I couldn't really own it because I didn't know. I'd never experienced it. But as I've gotten to know her more and more, I've realized, what the world says is actually wrong. The world tells me this person's going to complete me, but that's not what's happening. What's happening is God saying, Akil, you're learning how to get ready for this person. But if some of you have the thought that this person is going to complete me, I want you to look at this question. Am I looking for a relationship to complete me? Am I looking for somebody in my life to make me feel whole? Whatever that might be. And I don't want you to answer out loud, obviously, but I want you to think about it. Truly think about it. Get introspective for a moment and say, okay, as I pursue relationships, as I get on Instagram and I scroll through and look at somebody's picture, and I'm drawn to this person, what am I looking for in that person? What am I looking for? Now, if you are somebody who's looking for a relationship to complete you, I want to tell you something really quick. There's this man who lived on the earth 2,018 years ago. His name was Jesus Christ, right? God in flesh. He actually was sitting next to God on the throne, and he decided, you know what? There's a problem with mankind. It's called sin. Sin. God created everything to be perfect, to be complete. He created us to be in a relationship with him. That's why we're always looking for a relationship. Newsflash. But when sin entered the world because mankind decided to go against God, sin messed up everything and everyone. That's why everybody's looking for something to complete themselves. They just don't know what it is. So if you are looking for a relationship to complete you, that means you don't know Jesus yet, or you haven't fully let yourself be washed by who he is and fallen in love with who he is, and actually gazed into his presence and said, God, who am I to you? Because a relationship with Jesus will transform you. Because when Jesus came to the earth, he lived a perfect life. He lived the life that we all should have lived. And he taught time and time again, learn to love those around you. Learn to love God. Learn to be loved by God and love those around you. In fact, it says in Galatians chapter 5, verse 14, for the whole law is fulfilled in one word, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus says, look, learn to love the people around you. Learn to love yourself. And that comes from learning that you've been loved by God first. And so Jesus spent 30-something years on this earth teaching people how to love, correcting them about what they actually thought would save them. He said it's not going to be your money that's going to save you. It's not going to be your religion that's going to save you. It's not going to be your friends that are going to save you. None of these things are going to save you. What's going to save you is a relationship. This relationship is going to complete you. This relationship is going to save you. It's going to set you free. It's going to redeem your soul. But it's not with who you think it is. It's a relationship with the God who created you, with the God who knit you together in your mother's womb and said, hey, look, I've got a plan for you. I've got a purpose for you. He loved people so much and believed in the message so much that he actually died for that message. He died laying his life down on a cross for us. That's the whole reason we celebrated Easter, Good Friday, Easter, and everything is because Jesus paid the price for our sins, paid the price for a rift in a relationship that we caused so that the rift could be repaired. Because when he was raised to walk in newness of life, when he got out of the grave, and he walked out for almost a month just hanging out and talking to people, what he did was he said, you know what, hey, by the way, guys, what I said is true. Yeah, your sin actually can be washed away. It can be forgiven. It can be gone. It can be no more. You can't have a relationship with God. Oh, in fact, by the way, you can also have life and life abundantly because you are set free. So no longer are you a slave to the desires of your flesh. No longer are you a slave to the thought of, I'm not complete. You're whole. That's why Scripture tells us to be perfect, be complete. Because once you know who God is, you're good. So if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, that's the reason you're looking for a relationship to complete you. And I'll tell you right now, go ahead. Go ahead and get to know Jesus Christ. Ask Mike, ask me, ask any of the adults in here what it looks like to know Christ, to have him come into our lives and transform us, what it looks like to say, you know what, I can't save myself, and that's okay. I'm not God, and that's okay. Because when you surrender to who God is, you realize that you know what, he's everything I've ever needed and everything I've ever wanted. And once you're in that place of life, then you are ready for a relationship with somebody else. Then you are ready to pursue or be pursued and point somebody to what love looks like. Because you're not pointing them to yourself. You're not saying, hey, look how amazing I am. Look how awesome I am. You're saying, hey, you know what? Look, I fall short every single day. I'm going to forget about your birthday. I'm going to forget about a lot of things. What I'm not going to forget is the fact that there's a God who laid his life down on a cross to set us free, who gives us identity. There's a God who loved me before I even knew him. There's a God who loved you before you ever knew him. Relationships, it's not about the man and the woman. It's not. It's about you and God. First and foremost, it's about knowing that the perfect timing for a relationship is right here, right now, every moment of your life. And that's a relationship with Jesus Christ. And once you have that relationship, then you're actually ready. You've got the beginning steps to step into a relationship that'll actually be good, that'll blossom, that won't leave you feeling depressed. No, am I saying marriage and Christian lives won't be hard? No, I'm not saying that at all. I know plenty of Christians who are married. They have troubles, they have struggles. But you know what? They can get through it. Because their hope isn't in their ability, it's not in their capacity, it's not in their knowledge, it's not in what they have, it's who they know. And that's Jesus Christ. Y'all, the whole purpose behind this book is simply this right here. Romance is amazing. Relationships are amazing. But before anything else, if you don't know how to relate to God, if you don't know who he is and who he's called you to be, you're never going to feel complete. Nothing you pursue in this life is going to make you feel like you're loved, like you're enough. You're always going to walk through life feeling like there's got to be something more. But once you know who God is, once you've experienced the love of God, it'll transform and change you forever. And then you'll be able to look at somebody of the opposite gender and say, wow, you know what? I see why God loves you so much. I see why you are not unworthy. I'm unworthy of pursuing you. And then you'll say, okay, you know what, God? Help me to pursue this person the way you want me to. Y'all, I can't tell you when the perfect timing is for you, but I can tell you if you don't know who God is, you're going to mess up every relationship that you go to. Save everybody. Like if you're a guy, don't talk to the girls. If you're not a Christ follower, just don't waste your time. Don't waste their time. Because what you're going to do is you're going to teach them that, oh, wow, all guys are jerks. Yeah. Ladies, if you don't know who Jesus is, if you've never experienced Jesus, and you try and let guys come into your life, they're always going to let you down. They're always going to manipulate you. They're always going to take over you. You are going to be the worst person to them, and they're going to be the worst person to you. Why? Because you don't know what you want. You don't know what you're created for. Before anything else, find identity in a relationship with Jesus Christ, and I guarantee you, it'll make everything go so much easier.